off an amazing event of K-Fest in Las Vegas. Memphis had a very strong showing with so much new gear to show in the booth. We're going to connect now with President Nick Monaco to talk about some of the hot products that were unveiled at K-Fest this past weekend. Now, Nick, congratulations. That was an amazing booth. What an experience. We had a chance to shoot some video with you. But today I want to talk about three of the hot products that really came out of that K-Fest experience. The first one we want to talk about are the PR Amplifier series, one of the most popular series of amplifiers for Memphis, but some new applications to be seen.
Yeah, man, it was a great show. I'm just barely starting to recuperate now, but we had a lot of good stuff to show, and the PR amplifiers were definitely the most exciting for our dealers, just because they're used to selling a ton of these amplifiers. They've been bread and butter in our line forever, as long as I can remember. And the PRX 1000 has been a bestseller, top seller for. I've been with the company since 2009, and it's always our go-to amplifier. Everyone loves 1,000 watts, and the PR amp is always the one that they go after. So our new amplifier series, being the PR 1000, is 43% smaller than the previous model, with probably a little bit of a power increase as well. So losing size, but not losing power or any feature, actually adding features. So getting smaller with more features. Can't complain with that ever. New power ratings as well, keeping the 1,000 and 1,500, as well as the 500.4 and 800.5. But we added a 400 at 2 ohm that actually does 600 at 1 ohm. So we're calling it a 400 watt amp because foreshadowing for the future, maybe there's going to be a change in the PR amplifier, our PR subwoofer power handling. I can't say for sure right now, but just think about that. And then we also added more LEDs on it. So, I mean, we know that's just going to add output 3 to 6 dB for the LEDs. And who knows, there may be more LEDs down the line for other parts, acoustics in the PR line. But for the amplifiers, you got cool LED lighting on the side. The Memphis logo on top lights up blue. And then sticking true to how we've been with the PR series for the last, probably 5-6 years, maybe even longer. We put the controls under a panel. So we hide that from the end user. So when the installer sets the gains, sets the crossover, sets all that stuff, they don't just leave it open for the consumer to be able to turn all those volume knobs up and screw up the tune and maybe blow woofers or speakers. So kept that feature, as our dealers really like to be able to lock up the controls once they set them. And so the consumer doesn't even know there's that option. So a lot of cool features, but honestly, the biggest, most exciting part of it is we kept the power rating as it was, added LEDs, and made it up to 43% smaller, the chassis. So super cool, fit these things anywhere without giving up any sort of power or performance.
Now, Nick, I had the chance to touch and feel these amps, and I have to admit the small form factor certainly makes it very attractive and very modern looking. And we know, as you've mentioned many times on our show, that, Memphis listens to their customers. So I have to imagine that these improvements, such as the power as well as the form factor, certainly came from feedback from dealers.
Yeah, we often, almost always, listen to our dealers, and that definitely is one thing that they've been talking about, is smaller amplifiers. And with this PR amplifier, we knew we needed to do something big. Everybody's improving our industry, so we always want to get better and better and better. And we went back to the engineer we worked with on our VIV amplifiers, which was the best amplifiers we've ever made. We got with him to be able to design a new PR series that was smaller, but not sacrificing any power performance. So that is definitely something we've heard from our dealers, and we took action.
Now, speaking of taking action, I remember when you came on not too long ago to talk about something that you were very proud of and very unique to Memphis, and you called it the Memfuego box. Now, this Memfuego box has gone on to be somewhat of a legend in itself, in its own right. But getting to see it, its compact size, yet, man, is it loaded with drivers and a new logo aesthetic to boot.
Yeah, the Memfuego box, when we launched it last year, took off and everyone loved it. We honestly thought it was going to be a niche product for certain parts of the States, but it turned out that everyone loved it, and we're selling it everywhere. But again, listening to our customers, they love the fact that it's got 2 Pro 10s, 2 tweeters. The 10s are ported, so you're going to get extra mid-bass response out of those Pro mids, and it's just stupid loud. I mean, that's the only way to describe it. With all the LEDs on it, you're getting that extra boost. And it's just stupid loud when you plug this thing in, and people don't even realize how loud it's going to be. Everyone looks at it and go, oh, that's probably going to be pretty loud, and then you just rip their face off. But our customers talked a lot about wanting to be able to have some weatherproofing or more weather resistant, put this in a bed of a truck for tailgating, or be able to pull it out of the car and just listen to it and have a little tougher outside shell, because it was just carpet wrap before. So we listened and we made it, we truck lined it. So added some weather resistance to the cone, truck lined it, and then made a quick release for the LEDs and the speaker connection. So if you do want to put it in the bed of a truck for a tailgate, you can quickly disconnect it, throw it inside when you go in for the game. Pretty much be able to use it anywhere. Have some customers that are using on the back of their boat for maybe it's not a wake boat, so they don't have room for big wake towers. So when they're parked in the cove, they pull this out and set it on the back of the boat. So tons of applications for it now, but still keeping tons of LEDs and tons of output. The new Memfuego with the routed Memfuego logo on the top of the box. Just a cool looking box as well. So very excited about it, and everyone that saw it loved it, even if they were like, I don't even know where I could put that, but I want one.
You mentioned tailgating. I happened to on the day after K-Fest was done, I was by the stadium where Super Bowl was setting up, and I tell you, if there was an opportunity to sell Memfuegos, probably that would have been it. So maybe some advice for dealers, because I tell you, some of the setups these guys had for tailgating at Super Bowl, this Memfuego box would be absolutely awesome for that scenario. And as you heard from Nick, lots of upgrades, including that kind of truck-lined exterior, that new routed logo, just makes it a complete package. Definitely something you might want to have in your showroom this season. Now, finally, we want to talk about some application-specific stuff. It's not new for Memphis to have products for the UTV market, but from what we understand, a new and unique application is coming to market.
Yeah, we've been making stuff for the Can-Am Defender for a while, but we've been hearing from our customers they wanted some bass, and the Defender is more of a utility machine. So there's a lot of these machines that are coming with a full cab for the HVAC system. So people want to ride in comfort with their heat and AC. So that makes it a little bit different than most of your UTV systems and most of the stuff that we do. So first thing we did was add bass. So in a Defender, the front two-seater has a toolbox under the front seat, and a four-seater has a toolbox under the front and two toolboxes under the rear. So what we did was we pulled that toolbox out and made an enclosure that basically was the same exact size. So you pull that toolbox in, you can drop our powered enclosure in there and get 10 inches of bass with 350 watt RMS. The cool thing about that is you have a four-seater, you can add 3 10s into your machine, and it is stupid loud. And like all of our UTV stuff, you got LEDs on it, so you're going to get an extra 3 to 6 dB, and it's scalable. So we have the subwoofer amplifier built in. So if you've got your full interior system and you want to add a sub, you don't have to get a new amplifier. You don't have to change anything. You just got to get power ground and tap into your signal. It's really easy to add a sub. In the case of a four-seater, you can add 3 subs and maybe do it one at a time. Who knows? And then in addition with that HVAC, we've added interior speakers that sit up against the roof. So out of the way, so the rear passengers aren't hitting their head on a can while still getting that awesome Memphis 6.5 power sports speaker up there with LEDs on the ring, and then also the cone lit up. So you're going to get a ton of lights, a ton of output, and a ton of bass easily added into the Can-Am Defender now.